Photosynthesis!
Hi, I'm Jack.
And so am I.
Today, we're teaching you about photosynthesis.
And why it is the basis for all life on Earth.
We're going to teach you about photosynthesis and its process,
Light-dependent reactions,
the Calvin cycle,
and the organelles that make it all happen.
Here we go! Let's start off with the function and purpose of photosynthesis.
First off, we need to understand the photosynthesis equation.
This equation is 6CO2 plus 6H2O with light energy equals C6H12O6 plus 6O2.
Or for the equationally challenged,
Carbon dioxide plus water with light energy equals sugar and oxygen.
now that we understand the equation, we can understand the function of photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis uses the energy of sunlight to convert water and carbon dioxide into oxygen and high-energy sugars.
The plants release the oxygen into the air and use the sugars to create starches.
But let's save all that for later, shall we, Jack?
I agree. First, let's learn about light and pigments before we can go into reactions, because we need to know how the plants get the sun's energy.
Right you are.
Photosynthesis.
Now we're going to learn about light and pigments. The reason why photosynthesis is possible is because of the light energy the plants get from the sun.
This energy is absorbed by molecules called pigments.
Plants use a special pigment called chlorophyll. It's a molecule in chloroplasts. The chlorophyll is special because it reflects green light and absorbs the rest.
The two main types of chlorophyll are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B.
The light's energy entering the chlorophyll pigments excites the electrons in the cells, and these high-energy electrons make photosynthesis work. Photosynthesis.
It's alright. It's alright. Photosynthesis.
Now we will talk about chloroplast, where it all goes down. A chloroplast is an organelle inside of all plant cells.
Right you are, Jack. And inside of these chloroplasts, there are sac-like photosynthetic membranes called thylakoids. And these are where the light-dependent reactions occur.
Thylakoids are in nice, neat stacks, and inside of them is the site of light-dependent reactions. These stacks are called grana.
The stroma is the area around and in between the grana, and this is also where carbohydrates are formed. And so now that you've got the gist of what's inside of a chloroplast, we can really go into NADPHs.
Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, when I lay sleeping,
Photosynthesis.
in my arms, when I woke, dear,
Now we are going to learn about the energy carriers in photosynthesis.
One of the main carrier molecules is a compound known as NADP+.
NADP plus snatches up two high-energy electrons and a hydrogen ion, making it NADPH.
NADPH is a way that sunlight is trapped and carried in chemical form.
Now that we understand all the smaller things in photosynthesis, we can learn about light-dependent reactions and the Calvin cycle.
Thank you, Jack.
Indeed.
Go. Now, if you're smart, then you would realize that light-dependent reactions need light.
They use energy from light to produce ATP and ADPH.
The light-dependent reactions produce oxygen and convert ADP and NADP+ into the energy carriers ATP and NADPH.
In photosystem 2, enzymes break up water molecules into electrons, hydrogen ions, and oxygen.
In the electron transport train, hydrogen ions are transported from the stroma into their inner thylakoid.
In photosystem 1, high-energy electrons transform NADP+ into NADPH.
In hydrogen ion movement, the outside of the thylakoid membrane becomes negatively charged while the inside becomes positively charged.
In ATP formation, the hydrogen ions convert ADP into ATP.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Photosynthesis.
Now let's talk about the Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle uses ATP and NADPH from the light-dependent reactions to produce high-energy sugars.
First, when CO2 enters the cycle, 12 3-carbon molecules are produced from 6 CO2 and 6 5-carbon molecules.
Then, in energy input, high-energy electrons convert the 12 3-carbon molecules into higher energy forms.
Next, 2 3-carbon molecules are used to make a 6-carbon sugar.
Finally, 5-carbon molecules are regenerated from the remaining 3-carbon molecules to restart the Calvin cycle.
Thank you, Jack. Now that you've learned about photosynthesis from us,
Jack and Jack,
let's have a recap, shall we?
we shall. We learned about the photosynthesis function,
Light and pigments,
the inside of a chloroplast,
NADPH,
light-dependent reactions.
and the Calvin cycle.
We hope you enjoyed our educational video.
Photosynthesis.
That too.
Thank you. Come again. Photosynthesis!
Some silicone sister with a manager mister told me I got what it takes. She said I'll turn you on, son, into something strong. Play the song with the funky break. And go-kart Mozart was checking out the weather chart, see if it was safe outside. And little early birdie came by in his curly whirly and asked me if I needed